this streaming week in review for Let's Talk Streaming. It's episode 8 now. We've been going strong for 7 days. This is the 8th in a row. And what better activity to take than to review the past week? We actually achieved for this streaming channel a major milestone on Twitch. So we'll be starting off with that. Afterwards, we're gonna go through our various streaming topics which we covered in our Let's Talk Streaming episodes during the past week. We will also talk about some insights which I've gained throughout the week, and also some, let's say, improvements that I can make going forward. And at the end, I just discovered 2 OBS plugins which we will install and hopefully get set up. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the Milestone achievement on Twitch. So we're gonna load up Twitch. And let's go to the creator dashboard. And check our achievements. Now, this actually popped. Like clockwork, achievement unlocked. Stream for 7 unique days in the last 30 days. Now, this doesn't seem like much. 7 days in 30 days. I mean, it's, like I said, it looks like nothing. However, woo! 7 days straight. Thanks everyone who's helped with being in chat and also commenting and liking on videos. This is very important because we need to celebrate the small wins, and this shows consistency because I've been streaming 7 out of 7 days, let's say, and this will grow and expand as we go. This is also a highly achievable achievement for you as well, because it doesn't say you need to stream for X amount of time. I'm not sure what the lowest qualifier to be counted as a stream is, but in theory, you can stream for 5 or 10 minutes, 7 different times in the past 30 days and still achieve this. Now, again, it doesn't sound like much, but there's something that's happening here on the mindset side. And that is that we actually started taking action, which sees this as being a core success factor for streamers. Otherwise, why would they gamify it? They want to, let's say, give this little dopamine kick, so little encouragement to keep streaming so that you can become an established streamer, of course, and they benefit from it because the more successful you are, the more successful people are on streaming, the more people come and visit and spend time on their platform, right? So it makes sense. So this was really big for me because it tells me that, yes, I am on the right path. Yes, I am building that consistency and starting to form that discipline, which I've been talking about throughout the week, right? So I just want to say thank you for everyone who is kind of getting involved with this stream and my content so far. So this is huge for me. So let's celebrate the win, guys. And what did you, during the past week, what did you achieve? What did you celebrate? Small or big doesn't matter, but remember, it's these small steps. Pat yourself on the back, go celebrate them, because that just creates a positive feedback cycle where we want to do more and more and more of the good stuff that's going to let us ultimately reach our goals and make our dreams come true. So that was the milestone, and I haven't done this before. It's the first time I hit this one, so it actually is the first milestone, like clockwork. We hit, maybe there was an earlier one. Yeah, there was, doesn't matter. Still milestone, first time unlocking this level 2. Now, moving on. Let's quickly cover our streaming topics we've done in the last Talk Streaming episode during the past week, and I will do my best to paraphrase and provide a summary of them, just in case you missed one. So, simplest thing is to just go over to YouTube. And you find my YouTube, if my buttons want to work, at youtube.com at streaming 0 to hero, and there's also a link in my Twitch profile. And we actually have a Let's Talk Streaming playlist where I put all of these Let's Talk Streaming episode. And here we go. So they are in chronological order. or should be in the chronological order. These are in reverse order. All right, that's fine. So, they're a little bit all over the place. Let's fix that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder why these got became out of. Oh, I know why. It's just with how these are named, maybe. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So let's start at the bottom and work our way up. So in the first episode, I'm talking about various streaming topics and primarily focused around setting up and creating a YouTube intro image and a thumbnail. And I also recognize another fact, and I'm not sure, let me open this up here on so you can hear the desktop audio. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Welcome to Streaming Zero to Hero and this ever first Season 1, Episode 1 of drumroll. Where's the window? Not the window, that's not the title. Do you hear that kind of canny voice going through? It's also an improvement I just realized now that I actually did during this week, because you can clearly hear the difference in the audio between here we go, which is something which I like to call Let's Talk Streaming. Early this week, it drove me absolutely bananas because I know that my gear should be able to do better than that. So I took some time, figured it out, and I think it's one upcoming stream where I share a little bit more information about that. And this is what you hear now. So that's an achievement we did during the past week. And here's a quick synopsis of this episode. We looked at thumbnail examples and what makes them effective. So just kind of reviewing on YouTube various designs and layout that is being used by videos that are performing, getting views, getting those audience and viewer engagement, and broke it down into design, element, and layout. And we tried to replicate that in this video. Also talked about streaming as a career and why it's never been easier to start, because it is not hard to start streaming. You just start with what you have, where you are. If you're a gamer, you probably already have a computer. You already know what games you're playing. All you really need is OBS, which is free, and some understanding on clicking 1, 2, 3 of getting it set up, create a Twitch account, and off you go. And there was also a video recorded about this on the channel, but it was not a Let's Talk Streaming episode. So that was the first episode, kicking things off. Then we worked on the second episode to set up some basic profiles on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, where I have the same handle, Streaming Zero to Hero. And I also talked about the importance, from my perspective and my view on this entire journey, which is streaming, to not get caught up in all of these, let's say, established successful streamers with all the bells and whistles. They have the best gear, they have the streamer backgrounds, they're streaming apart, or like they have all their setup like fine-tuned, super professional, looking good. And if that is holding us back from starting to stream because I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have this, I don't have that, or I need to research this, and what's the best camera, and you can go down into research analysis paralysis, and it is a real danger of it becoming just procrastination of actually getting started. I take an opposite philosophy, which is start where you are with the gear you have and get into that, because getting started beats not getting started. Getting something up beats not getting something up. And as you go stream and grow, you're going to find what is the logical next step for you to improve. Let's say if you are a gamer, you are streaming and streaming a game and you don't have a microphone. Not having a microphone doesn't stop you from starting to stream your game. But eventually, as you do this, then you want to probably most likely interact with your viewers. So then, oh, I want to buy a microphone. Well, then you do it. But now you're already getting and forming that consistency, that discipline of streaming. And the threshold to be like being able to, let's say, call you a streamer is when you stream. So it's really easy to become a streamer in that sense. And then as you stream, you will find things to naturally grow into. And I found several of these things, one being the microphone, which I just talked about, to fix that. And I go in detail of this concept in episode 2 from the past week here. Moving up to episode 3, we looked into setting up Twitch alerts, which is goals, bells, and whistles on Twitch. In this video, I actually missed out a key component, and that is how to integrate the Twitch alerts, which we set up on the Twitch platform, but we need to also integrate it back into OBS. And I realized this, and I actually came up with another fix on it. We're going to see it here in a bit in another episode of Let's Talk Streaming. And I'm doing this and sharing this because I want to be transparent to you guys. Because, like I said, I think I also said it in my first episode, it's as much my journey as it is your journey, as it is our journey. And I just want to be very transparent. And when I fail, when I fall, when I stumble, when I make mistakes like this, I share that, because then maybe you don't do the same thing, but doing mistakes and learning on the go is okay. And I guess that's one of the core messages trying to get across here right now on this. What more did we cover in this video? Yeah, so I messed around with the various customization options on Twitch, layout choices, and so on. So a lot of, Twitch alerts, setting that up. Hello, fellow streamer. It's time. In episode, which one was it? Episode 4, past week, I talked about Twitch achievements, some beginner streamer goals, and really breaking down the core that makes up the Twitch achievement plan. Now, Twitch, I think, has done a really great job in gamifying the activity which they connect with, basically how to turn new streamers into consistent streamers, into established streamers, into successful streamers. And when I really broke it down, which I do in this episode 4 of Let's Talk Streaming, I found that the core of all of these, which, let's say, we are more able to control and affect, let's say, in terms of what we can do, was focused around consistency based on how many times in the past 30 days that you stream, and next part being for how long. And I also emphasize, and I will emphasize again, undercommit and find what works for you. And don't go like, I'm going to stream 12 hours a day, and you do that for 2 weeks, you burn out, you crash, you can't fit it into your life, and then you stop. Let's not do that. That's bad. Instead, what if you could do 30 minutes every 3 days, and that is what is working in your life and schedule? And it's not a big step up for you, but you can come in there and you can keep banging away at it. You can keep just hitting and completing your scheduled streams, which is scheduling is another topic that's going to come up, right? And for me, I've gone through the same journey here. And for me, I wanted to set, okay, I want to stream daily, because my background is I'm a master at procrastination, because you know what? I can do it tomorrow. But tomorrow is always tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes tomorrow, and you get the picture. So for me, I wanted to form the consistency, the discipline, the habit of streaming and creating content for you guys, so you can follow along on my own streaming 0 to hero journey. And first, I set a goal of streaming 1.5 hours every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Saturday and Sunday, do doubles. Because as we're getting into the scheduling, I'll talk more about it here in a little bit. I also, again, it's better to have something up, and it's not perfect, and it's not, it's just one step up. It's the minimum effort we can spend to actually get something in place, versus having this long, drawn out, perfectionist research phase, right? And for me, I just looked at when I did the schedule, that looks good because I know that ambition, passion is on one side and life is going to push back on the other side. And over time, eventually the perfect stream schedule is going to form due to just how life works that I can sustain over time if I'm consistent at going after the streaming aspect. And I'll talk more about that in a future video here in the episode of Let's Talk Streaming this past week. Moving on, here is a short one. Streamers, so it's or maybe not so short, 42 minutes. Here is when I realized that in 5th episode in, not getting the sound quality which I should be getting was, it was annoying me like a lot. And that's me. If all you have is a mic that doesn't sound good, then do what you can with that mic. Learn how to make it sound the best as you go. And eventually, if you need to buy another mic, then you know that you have to buy another mic. But you have started where you are. You learned the skills on improving your microphone to the best of its capability. And that knowledge you can bring with you if you buy a new microphone to make it sound even better. Maybe you don't even need to buy it, because when I first started hearing the audio coming back from those first episode, I thought, man, this microphone is crap. Do I have to buy a new one? And I was, wait, I'm probably just not missing it because I'm not used to setting up microphone stuff for the best audio capability there is. So I YouTubed it, and I also talk about it in this episode. I found this really, really good video going through it, just how to set it up. And it was using Elgato's wavelength software with any mic. And what I really liked about the person, I can't remember his name now, unfortunately, a YouTuber. What I really liked is that he set this up with the beginner in mind, because I'm not what they call an audiophile or like really into microphone stuff. So he really broke it down so that I could understand it and then take those basic steps. And then sure, he went on to more advanced stuff, which I haven't implemented because I don't feel a need to. I'm perfectly happy with this audio. And coming back to the thing, if I don't need to do X, Y, Z, all advanced, every full-blown everything set up and be completely overwhelmed with it, then I won't. I'd rather go, okay, so now I've improved something today, and tomorrow I will try a little bit more to improve something else. And over time, doing these gradual improvements will come a really long way in a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. And when you look back, you will be amazed of how far you come. That's also why I want to do this weekly review episode of Let's Talk Streaming, so that we can kind of look back and see what progress we made during the week, because lack of success or that feeling of lack of progression, it's real and it's bad. And that feeling, you're just stuck. Keep going on, keeping on for the sake of keeping on, and you can't really see the improvements you make. That sucks. It's bad. Been there, done that. So that's why I think it's so important in the beginning, especially as we don't have a viewership, we don't have the interaction in the chat, we don't get the views on YouTube and so on and so forth, that we forgot and often overlook our own journey, our own skill set, and how that has grown, how our online presence, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and so on, how that has grown in terms of just our capabilities and skills, look and appearance, profile setup, all these things. So even though we're not seeing those viewers engage, and the ultimate holy grail, if you want to look at that stuff going viral, but we forget to look at we're actually making progress. And as we progress, the other things will come. So that's another principle I talk in one of these other upcoming videos, was the principle of delayed gratification. But anyway, so in this 5th episode, I talk about improving mic qualities. Now, the 6th episode, here's where I realized, oh crap, I messed up. Happy accident. Because I realized that these Twitch alerts that we set up in the earlier episode, I didn't realize I had to integrate that with OBS, which makes a lot of sense. And what's happening with this goal was that since it's not set up in OBS is the streaming tool I use, the free software I use, so that I can stream and you guys can see the stream. And since I hadn't integrated the alerts into OBS, you won't be able to see it in stream when there's triggers, which we want, of course. So I go through this in this episode. And let's do a memory jogger here. So I So I fixed the Twitch alerts, setting alert goals in terms of organization a bit. And then I also wanted to update the profile graphics, which in the banner and things, because in the beginning it was just black, white text. And then I realized that, well, the next thing is to just use the branding color, which we set up earlier in one of the earlier streams. Use that color on the header. And that's a small, very doable, incremental improvement. Didn't take so long to set up, and it's looking a little bit better. And again, coming back to this, what's the minimum improvement I can do so it looks a little bit better, works a little bit better, and so on. Implement that and then gradually build, versus I'm going to spend the next, 2 days trying to design the perfect banner. When I'm doing that, I'm not streaming. Sure, I could stream doing that, but again, time and things, and we have more things we need to talk about. So this was what I fixed in this episode. I also talked about consistency and why pushing through, even when you're tired, is key to growing your channel, because coming back to the Twitch alert, which I just showed, was that consistency and the duration. And you can unlock most of the Twitch achievements by just being consistent and streaming in terms of duration that you can sustain. You may not reach, let's say, the highest level of each achievement, because they are like, you think of them as achievements, and then they have level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending just how far you get into it. But it doesn't matter, because you need, find the rhythm, find the schedule, find the consistency and duration that works for you and your life. Because if you overcommit to that, it's just like going to the gym. First week you go gung ho, all hardcore into it. Second week, and then your muscle fatigue and muscle soreness kicks in, and then you lay flat on your back for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then you don't go back to the gym. On average, and it's also been my experience. So don't overdo it. Start with something that you can keep doing, and rather grow into wanting to do more, wanting to stream longer, wanting to stream more often. And then it becomes a positive feedback loop, rather than starting up here, doing that for 2 weeks, and then crashing to 0. And it's a very much up, down, stop, flat line, and you don't stream. At least this is the mindset that I'm adopting, and I don't know you. I can be completely wrong about you, but this is how I'm operating. And I think to just keep that next step, improvement bar low, you take more steps. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. Let me know in the comments or the chat if this resonates with you and this makes sense to you. And also, if it doesn't make sense at all and you have another perspective, I would really love to just hear from you guys, because like I said, it's as much about my journey as you guys, and learning together with you as we become established and successful streamers. So that was the 6th episode. Now the 7th one. Hi everyone, and this one I wanted to talk about the dark side of streaming and overcoming burnout and finding balance, and you could probably sense a hint there from the 6th episode where I started talking about consistency and pushing through and energy. I was so tired when I recorded this, and I really just know, but I can take a rest day, or I can do it tomorrow. And all of my old procrastination thoughts make itself known, but that's my old me. I just realized that the most important thing I can do for streaming and my streaming journey here is just show up, click the stream now button, and stream. It doesn't have to be perfect. Could be the worst stream ever. Could be the shortest stream ever. But for me, it was showing up for myself, my goals, and my future. And that was the most important thing for me to get done. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Because anyone and everyone can do things when they feel like it, when they're passionate about that, when it's easy. But it takes a real professional to do it, even when the chips are down, you're tired, you're demotivated, and everything under the sun happens to try to keep you from your goals and dreams. So that is what I'm talking about in this one. And if you're struggling, perhaps you will find those tidbits or perspectives in that episode to get you unstuck and back on track again. And let's see, what more do I do? Yeah, I also talked about tweaking and adjusting titles, thumbnails. So I realized I need to step up in terms of my post-production after the stream, because I, save the recordings of all the stream and upload them to YouTube. I identify and see that I need to improve in these areas, which is great. It's great insights. And I think I also talked about, because my feeling throughout the week was that I'm getting 0 views on YouTube. YouTube isn't pushing out the videos I upload. And it turns out when I look back, and it's also another key benefit, let's say, of doing these weekend reviews, is that I could see that some videos actually did get pushed out, did get views, versus the other one still stuck at 0. And then I go like, this is interesting. Why? What did I do in those videos that made them get pushed up versus the other one? And a few of the insights I had was the title, probably image composition, and the topic. So that's also something I'll be working on now to, for the upcoming week, improving, growing. And it has nothing to do, these factors which I saw has, I think, very little to do with the actual, let's say, video content and the topic I talk about, and just everything about presentation, let's say, because that becomes important when you see the views goes up. And you can see that in YouTube analytics, where you can see the drop-off rate and the interest. So when the views go up and kind of stabilize at some point, I would be happy where I am right now if I could just get like 200 to 400 views steadily on all the videos, because it means that it's getting YouTube is pushing out the video, and then I can look into each video and try to see the engagement, or the stick rate, if you will, or the drop-off rate of the viewers, and see how that drops or develops, and try to find when they stay and when they drop, and drop as in stop watching the video, and really work on that. And as I get better in that, the combination of the two will make that YouTube will see, this is interesting content for the others, and then should, in theory, I'm theorizing now, push it out to more viewers, because YouTube realizes, hey, people are watching it, they're finding the video interesting, let's push it to more people, right? So that's something coming into, and I think it's actually a great segue here to move on to some streaming insights, because that was this past week's streaming topics in Let's Talk Streaming. And I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think about this Let's Talk Streaming series. Is it a good format? Do you have questions, ideas, perspective? Feedback like, it's good, but if you do this, it would be even better. I would really love to hear that from you guys. So just drop a comment or in the chat what you think, because I really want to connect and make the content that you need to get started and grow, because that's the real motivator for me. I find I'm so motivated by the amount of people today, young, middle years, old, that just have this passion, have their voice that they want to get out there. And with the technologies we have by streaming, it's easier than ever. And that really excites me to see what I can do to help you achieve that. Right, moving on. Now we're going to talk about streaming insights from the past week. And you actually had a few already. Now, format is a big one. And I realized that, I can actually do this now, I think. Yeah. Composition of the video, I need to improve. How do I know this? It's what I think, but it's small things, like when I'm in, creating these, let's say, how-to tutorials, and I keep my camera down to the right, and I found it to become starting to be a bit annoying, because sometimes what I want to show is down in that bottom right corner, so then I have to keep track and moving my webcam around. But the problem is, if the video is 1.5 hours long, finding those instances becomes time consuming. And I realized when I was also observing what other, let's say, established streamers doing how to style videos, so like when they're sharing their desktop and things, what they do is they actually have a green screen background. So they only show themselves and not the background. And when I looked at it, it shows enough to where they don't have to bother so much about it, because even if you don't directly see exactly the point which they're pointing on, you can still see enough to figure out where that is. So that's something I will be looking into. Let's say for the future. And I will put that on my list to get, because for me, this isn't, I mean, it's twofold for me why I want to buy this. And coming back and reinforcing the point of start without all the fancy whistles, start streaming and figure out what you need and why. And then you can make informed decision, let's say, of what you buy and when. And it also spaces out all the purchases and all the things over time, which is great for economical reasons. So it's mainly two reasons why I want to buy the green screen. The first one being, I want to make sure that if I'm saying, hey, click this thing over here for you, the viewer, do this, and you can't see it because the webcam footage is in the way. That's bad. So I want to fix that. Second part is, I don't want to fiddle with so much post-production things, because it's you have more important things to do, right? And when I'm doing post-production, I'm not streaming, or I'm not doing X, Y, Z, right? So I want to try and simplify wherever I can, and I want to try to, or rather, it's not trying to, again, Yoda, do or do not, right? So I want to cut away unnecessary steps wherever possible, because simple is good, right? So that's one insight. And then in terms of the content, I realized that I will be looking into and doing more of, let's say, true vertical, like let's say YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, vertical phone format more, alongside my normal, let's say normal, like this stream normal 1080p format, this wide normal video format, and see and try and do that in terms of the how-tos, and try to keep the how-tos in under 60 seconds so they qualify for YouTube Shorts. Because for this longer YouTube length duration format and normal YouTube format, I'm not getting that many views. And it's not surprising, because I'm still learning, how people find my content. I don't have audience and followers, right? So leveraging YouTube Shorts as a growth factor is also an insight, and something I will be doing more going forward, because that gets pushed out. Coincidentally, I've seen on TikTok that now is starting to get pushed out more, and I am getting a few likes, a few followers. Still not a lot, but enough to tell me that people are interested in the content. I just need to, let's say, package it in a way where people find it interesting to stick around, and then I can improve on the messaging and the content in itself, so people want to stick around longer. So that's another one. And I'll be talking about titles, and it's more the packaging of it all, depending on the platform. So YouTube is title, video has a thumbnail, description, and probably some keywords. And how much something is important or not, I don't know. I could spend time researching this and get 10 different answers, but trying things out for yourself and figuring it out, it beats all those. You can get tips and ideas for what to try, but eventually test, track, and tweak as you go, which is kind of what I'm doing. Now, I think those are the biggest ones going forward. I can also highlight that I will be starting up, or have started up. I would just need to make the content for it. Coming back to the channel again on YouTube. I actually started, of course, we've been talking now about the Let's Talk Streaming playlist, but I also started 2 more. One is streaming motivation, and one is a challenge series. Challenge yourself, start streaming, share your passion. The idea with the motivation is to be inspiring, and because sometimes you need that boost. So that's something I started. And then this one, challenge yourself, start streaming, share your passion. Title might change. I'm still working that angle a bit, but the idea is that to have bite chunk steps taking someone who doesn't have anything set up in regards from streaming at all. They don't have OBS and all these things. And I will see how possible it is, but I want to keep that in the YouTube Shorts under 60-second format to go through all the steps from nothing, getting started and growing, and making them highly actionable, where the challenge is, okay, you saw the video, you want to become a streamer, then take this step before you proceed. And then you start to do the first step, and if if that's all you do that day, great. Then the next day you can come back, you can do the next one, so on and so forth, so that you also can start streaming and to challenge yourself and really apply yourself, because you're not going to stream until you start streaming, and only you can do that. And this, I'm trying to phrase it that you can do this, you just got to follow the steps and you can start, and then you can take the next step and start and learn and grow and rinse repeat. So that's the goal of this playlist. So I will be working on populating that during the next week with things. How do you like these playlists and the concepts behind them? Does that make sense? I would love to hear from you in the chat room, and also love to hear from you wherever you see this video by just commenting below. Is there some other topic or playlist that comes to mind, or like, it would be great if we have this, or I have a question, or I have a challenge or an obstacle? Write them as well, because I'd love to hear from that and see what I can do to either, if it's how to technical things, just show you how to do it, or maybe provide some perspective that might help you overcome those obstacles and challenges. All right, so that was a lot of talk about streaming and what we've gone through. And yeah, all in all, I would say it's been a journey. I feel like I've gotten into the beginner streamer and becoming established as a beginner streamer, going live on stream, and let's say the workflow around that I've established. Can benefit from setting up, let's say, a checklist before the stream and grow from there. But all in all, it's not that much effort, let's say, from the technical side to start streaming for me now. I've I wouldn't say I mastered it, but learned enough that that's not a problem. And this is good. So that is another big achievement for the past week. Now, let's look into these two new OBS plugins. And the main driver is to make our life easier. And it's two aspects of it. One being, and it's really about post-production. And we'll get into the plugins in just a little bit. I just want to explain what they are, or at least what I think they will do, and why I want to expand OBS with these plugins. So the first one is another similar OBS plugin to Source Record. Source Record is helping with taking the various scene. Actually, let's see if we can bring OBS in here and I can exemplify it. So the sources that you see here, Twitch alerts, video capture, and things, they can have filters applied to them. And those filters, with the exception for the audio, which I haven't figured out yet, which I don't think you can do with Source Record, allows me to set that record this. So the video capture, the webcam, the display desktop, I actually, regardless if I'm streaming or just doing a normal recording, they output a recording of the session in a specified folder. And I do this because I don't want to have, let's say I just recorded it. Then I will get the desktop and the webcam, and they will be on the same layer, same source, and post-production and moving things around is just a nightmare. But if I record both sources separately, I can compose them later in post-editing how I want them. Do I want the webcam to be full picture frame? I can do that because I have the source already in full format for the webcam or the desktop, or I want to have them vertically lined and so on. So it helps the post-production and also repurposability of it later. What I lack and miss is the audio output. I would like to have the audio on the webcam and or also any other part which you see in the audio mixer, which is another thing for me to really get into, desktop audio and maybe some music, or I don't know. I want these as separate audio files saved separately. So I have everything that's in my stream makeup, if you will, what you're seeing now, all the various elements, scenes, audio, webcam, and so on, saved separately in their full scales format, because then I can plug and play with whatever I want to do afterwards. That's number one. For that, one of the OBS plugins is to just get full control of that and get everything out. Another benefit of that, which I've been thinking about and will get into eventually, is from this one stream in OBS that I'm streaming, broadcast that stream to other streaming, or I would say multiple streaming platforms such as Twitch, YouTube, and other ones, and try how that goes, so that I can do the same stream and be active live streaming on multiple platforms. The challenge with that, which I have to figure out when I actually get there, which I don't have to solve now, is how do I monitor and keep track of all these chats when I do that? Something to figure out when I get there. I don't have to solve it now. Coming back to those philosophy of by chunks, step by step, right? Next up is I found myself in post-production doing a lot of text-to-speech, so I can get a caption or a transcript file. And this is a manual step which I do for every video. And I went like, wouldn't it be nice if OBS had a plugin that automatically does it and output that in the same way that I can get the video, webcam, hopefully also the audio, that I can also, just stop streaming or stop recording when I do that, and have all of the files and also have the transcript, because the transcript I am putting into, let's say, YouTube and things like that. So then I don't have to do, let's say, it's like 3 or 4 manual steps in processing to do this, and it's just there and stored. So simplifying it, and I can focus on spending that time and effort into something which really matters, or like can matter, or like is important, and that's the post-production, composition, and things, and making it the best possible content for you guys. That's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna move OBS out of the way again. And the first one I actually found, and I want to give a shout out to, because I didn't know about this one.
Just in. Look at this plugin.
So big shout out to you, Andy Lippy. I hope I said that right, Andy Stone. Actually, I'm gonna follow you. So branch output, I detected it, or like learned about it through Andy's excellent video here. And yeah, I'm a strong believer in credit where credit is due. Man, he's also one of those focused, talking about streamers and things, streaming, improving streaming, and so on. So yeah, watch that video if you want this plugin, and go ahead and give him a follow, and let's spread the love around. And it's basically, I think he has a he just covers briefly what it is. I'm gonna do the same here. So let's just go to the link I got from him. All right, so branch output. So as I understand that this will work, and I think we can check the image out here. These are effect filters, and you can apply multiple branch output, which they call it, with the plugin. And I would assume that you can do that per source. And let me drag OBS in here. So the source here is our Twitch alerts, video capture, display capture, and audio. And the plugin, the branch output plugin for OBS, as I understand it now, when we're going to see if I'm right or not when we install this, will allow me to set up multiple outputs across all of these. And if I understand things correctly, it could be another live stream, example, YouTube stream. Or it could be that I save it. And this is what I'm hoping I will be able to do. Because again, I'm not looking to stream to multiple platforms at the same time. Now I'm looking just to make post-production and saving the recordings in the way I described, right? So one source, one file type of thing. So let's go ahead and see if we can install this. Oh, there's the X. And follow the instructions. All right, so one important thing that they list here is that when you're in studio mode, Branch output ignores studio mode's program out and always outputs previous one. Gotta be honest here, which I'm always trying to be. I don't know what that means. Looking forward for when I do. Because that means we've grown. So go to download. And let's see. No, not bookmark. I was hoping to do a... Nope. So it's a release, but why? So it's the latest release. That's all nice, but how do I download it? Ah, here we go. So, oh, this is something I like. He provides the source code, so it's open source. That's even better. Open source is so that many people who are not associated with him can look into it, add to it, develop it, fix bugs, help out. It's also transparent, or should be. So I'm guessing this one. Yeah, let's try it, see what happens. Now, I just realized I have no idea how OBS is going to react when I install this and I'm streaming at the same time. So if the stream crashes, we'll find out. I assume that it's not going to allow me to do this as I'm streaming. Let's see. Do they have an install instruction? So just install it. How do I get it to appear in OBS? Figuring stuff out. So let's try. Let's just check the video and let's go here, go to filters. Don't see it. Not surprising. My expectation is actually I'm not going to find it. I have to stop the stream and then restart, which I would rather avoid. Nope. All right, but then what I will do is I will talk about the next one, and then I will focus on setting up each of these as a separate stream and a separate video. Because I'm trying to keep the stream together, so to speak. All right, so the next one I talked about, let's just move on. The next one I talked about was that I found or am looking for a OBS plugin that does automatic transcription. And this one, I believe, which I Googled and found, should allow also for live caption. So in the stream, you don't see that there's a text underneath. This should solve this, but that's not why I'm interested in it. I'm interested in this if I can get, like I said, the on-save translation caption output. So it displays captions on screen using testers. I didn't have so much time to look into this, so we're doing it together. Here we go. Send captions to a TXT or SRT file. So this is what we're looking for. So I will go and download this. And I could spend more time trying to research and see things, but it looks like it's going to do the job. Maybe we'll have a version problem, but I can try and we'll see if it works. And then we'll see the quality of the transcript, which is basically just extracting my voice and putting that into text words and then saving it as a file on the computer. and we will see if this is good enough or if we need to find something else. And let's see if they have a, not sure if they have it. So let's do this one. Or do they have some instructions on which is which? No. All right, so we try this one. Ba-ba-ba. All right, so be security-minded when downloading random stuff off the internet. So this is an interesting one. So I actually want to scan this first. And I believe the reason why we didn't get this was because it was assigned, like for the OSI branch output, was because it was actually signed. Probably mean that it's pre-screened by Microsoft or something. I don't know. So I want to scan this with Microsoft Defender. And no threats found. And since it pinged them down, which is probably because it wasn't signed, I'm actually wanting to check a little bit more into this one. Just security reasons and keeping the computer safe. So let's see if we can. One improvement they can make is just get a signed installation file. Because I want to see if I can find another one which is signed for security reasons. Coming back to if there is a good reason to do something, then obviously, security matters. So that's why we're doing it. I think we can actually leave it there. The idea, again, as long as you understand the concept, I think that's good. There's 2 plugins. I will figure them out, come back with a focused stream on them both. And it's going to also, of course, upload those videos to YouTube. We've been going on for about, 53 minutes. I think this is a good opportunity to just do a quick recap. So in this week in review, actually a lot of things has happened this past week. I've seen a lot of growth in terms of skill set, capability, and improvements, insights that we can adjust and tweak and act on in terms of our post-production content and things. So even though, let's say, I don't have that many followers or seen any of those type of metric growths really happen, the skill set has grown quite significantly. And I know that skills is more important than, let's say I went viral, right? And got a bunch of subscribers. I don't know why it went viral. I don't know the skill set. And then come back and then 0, 0, few views, 0, 0, and can't repeat those results. So for me, grinding and growing and learning that skill set is more important than right now, right? Than the actual how these videos and streams perform. It comes to be important in terms of the packaging, like I talked about previously, where, for example, for YouTube, thumbnail, title, description, and these things, I want to learn and figure it out for YouTube, and then also for Instagram, TikTok, and the other ones I'm on, to understand what makes them tick. Because that's the first step. Next step, of course, is when they actually click it or start watching the video or the stream, get them to stay around more. That comes next. So first things first. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you like this style of week in review when we talk about what we've done during the past week. If you have questions, if you have challenges, do you like the format, just comment below or in the chat. I would really love to hear from you guys. And yeah, that's it. I'll catch you tomorrow in the next stream. And until then, have a great Sunday, since it's Sunday now, or a great day whenever you watch this. Have a good one.